Welcome to this video. So in this video we are going to review our March release version 23.3.1. That's our first version release for March. So in this release we have several features that we have added to our plugin here, and we will also review the bug fixes that we've made in the plugin and also the changes that we've made in the plugin as well. So let's get started. So the first thing we did on the high charts library, we added the height specification for the high charts specifically. You could specify the height of the chart. So you could notice that these charts here, this is the high chart sample chart for high charts. If you render this one, by default it was very long. The charts were very long than the other charts here. So we added a height to it. So by default it's 240 pixels, so that it can match the other chart heights. Or if you have different charts on your dashboard, it can really match the rest. But you can now specify your own custom height if you do wish. So that one, you just add an extra parameter to the function and specify the height in pixels, and we can just see an example right here. So on the plugin documentation here, you go the widget functions, then you go to high charts. Now we have this chart height parameter here. So this chart height parameter is not mandatory. You can leave it to default so that it can stay the way it is. So if you want to increase the height or reduce it to your own custom height, just need to provide this parameter here. So this one also, chat options, is not usable for now for these high charts. So you can just provide these last two parameters if you have to provide the chart height. But by default, these two are not mandatory. So it's not a must you pass them in your function. You see, like this one here. We do not have the last two parameters. So that is it for high charts. So for now, the charts should be rendering like that, and you can specify the height. Also, the other thing we did was the bug fix. It's a minor bug fix on the rendering of the dark mode and the light mode theme. So we had some few things here whereby you could, if you the sidebar here, if you on dark mode, like let's say dark mode like this, so this sidebar will only be dark if it's dark mode, but that's not supposed to be the case. So you can have a light sidebar even if you have dark mode, or you can have a dark sidebar even if you are on light mode. So these changes you can just make them using your theme switcher here. Come to theme switcher here. Yeah, so for right now we are on light theme and we have a light sidebar. So if you want a dark sidebar for this light theme here, all we have to do is come here and say dark sidebar. So we choose what variant we want, maybe say primary, and save the changes. Okay, so that's it. So you will have a dark sidebar, so choose this one. Okay, so that's it. Same to the navbar here, the top navbar here. So let's go to this theme switcher. So currently the navbar is light because we have the light theme, but you can have a custom color for it if you want to. So let's say navbar, right? So you can say we want to have orange. Let's try orange, an orange navbar. Save changes. That's it. So your navbar color will change that. So you can modify this color to whatever color you want. now it will now render properly. So there was a small bug there where it was not rendering the sidebar and the nav quality. So for now we will stick to light and stick to light sidebar here. Okay. So that's it for the dark theme and light theme. Also, another minor bug fix that we've made is on rendering the nav menu items. You see these menu items here. So when you come to the settings, app settings here, then you come to this. So you see this on hide in nav menu. So if you want to hide for all groups, you have to provide this asterisk, right? Whether in homepage or on the nav menu. On the nav menu is on the side here. So using this one, it was not hiding by default. So there was a bug where it was not hiding. So if you say you hide for all groups in nav menu, it wasn't hiding. But right now we have fixed that. So this one now, you do this to hide for all groups, it will now apply accordingly. Okay. So another thing, we have added new logging methods. You'll notice that in previous versions we only had Google login, but right now we have added Twitter and Microsoft's login authentication. So you realize this tab here was called Google Auth, but right now we have changed it to social login. This one. So social login now has Google Auth inside it, and it now has Microsoft Auth, it now has Twitter Auth, and it has custom login methods. So you can now, if you want to have, because you can't support all login methods that exist. So if you want to add your own custom login method to your login page, you can now just specify that. We'll go to see how to set up that in a short while. But for now, Twitter Auth, it's enabled, Microsoft Auth enabled, and the Google Auth enabled. So let's just see how this looks on the login page here. Log out. So this is how it looks like. Using Google, using Microsoft, using Twitter. So you can disable whichever method you want, actually. So you can decide to have Google only, or Microsoft only, or Twitter only, or have your custom method. So we shall cover that shortly. So let's just go back in, maybe using Microsoft. So you see this one will, you sign into your Microsoft account. For me, that's my Microsoft account. That's it. You're logged in. So I'm logged in using my Microsoft account right here. Log out. Same to Twitter. So if you do setting with the Twitter, that's it. So it takes you to Twitter. So for Twitter, the Twitter, how it works, Microsoft and Gmail and Google, they use your email. So once it brings back the response with the authenticated user email, we'll look in your application to see if that email exists. But for Twitter, we'll now look at your profile username. Like, for example, this is my profile username, this one here. So when this returns, you have to have a username on your application that matches that, because Twitter doesn't return back the email. So we use that username there. So if a user exists for that username, then it will authorize and the user will log in. So let's authorize here. And that's it. They've logged in using Twitter. Okay. I see that username is the same username that I have on Twitter. So that's what you need to note. This one should be the same. You're using Twitter Auth. Then you could add your own custom login methods here. Let's assume you're not using any of these. and you want to add your own custom methods. So let's go here, go to extras. There's a custom login methods here. So this is the custom feature that we have. So you can create whichever feature that you do want to add on this one here. So like for example, I've created a login with phone number. You can enable or disable. For now, all the created methods are disabled, so you could enable them by clicking that edit icon, then come here and say enable yes, save changes. Okay, let's see. Want to enable this. Okay. Yeah, so you see it turns to green, which means it's been enabled. Okay. So you provide your login method name, button text, the text to appear on the login page button. The button variation you can choose from the ones that are here already. Button icon, you use font awesome icons, so you can pick enter it here. Button link, now the link to the script. For this case, the script that you'll have here logic. So you'll have that and enable method or not. So if you log out here, you have enabled login with phone number. You see login with phone number has appeared here. And you see the link is pointed to the link that we specified. So whichever script that is going to initiate that login method, you need to provide it as a button link. So here's how it will look like. So the login page now automatically supports that. So you may be asking yourself, how do I set up this custom login methods? So we have added a new feature on the documentation of this plugin. Let's just disable this one. So just click on it. Then here, say no. As it. So if you want to set up this page, so this is a custom page that has this functionality that you can now create for your application because we realize now it will be easier now for us to just create custom snippets that you can just plug into your application without us having to ship them with the application, because some features may not be necessary for all users, so you can implement them based on your own needs. Okay, so what we did is, by default, the application has this custom pages builder tool. So this tool helps you to create custom pages for your application. These pages could have logic, functionalities, and anything that you want to do, and you can add them to the menus that you have here. You can add them to any menu or to this menu just directly right there. So what we did is, you come to the documentation here, you'll find this section added, advanced code snippets. So you'll explore all the code snippets that we have designed to enhance the functionality of your application. So you'll find all the snippets that we do have here. So for example, we have page code editor tool, we have language translation tool, we have bulk data encryption, decryption tool. We shall see how those tools work. And then custom logging options creator tool. So for this case, we are interested in this particular tool here. Okay, so this one is already here. So the code is already existing on GitHub gist. So you can get the code here. So what you do is, you come to your custom pages creator, create custom page, provide the name, provide the icon, provide the table group where you want it to go to, provide the groups that can access. You can select multiple groups if you do want to have multiple groups access it. Then don't hide in that menu, just leave it and then create page. That's it. So the page is here. So I already created the page for my case. Here it is. Then you click on edit. So when you click on edit here, there will be very minimal code here. So what you do is come here, click on this GitHub gist code, take you to the GitHub gist. So all you have to do is just copy the entire code that is here. It's already tested, and it's ready to just copy and paste. So you copy everything here, come and paste it in here and save changes. That's it. Once you've saved your changes, you'll go to the menu wherever you have placed it, click on it, and you'll have this page appear right here. You don't have to code anything. You see, the logic is already there for you, so you can just use it the way it is. Okay, so you can create your custom methods. You can create as many as you want here, and the login page now supports those methods. So if you create a login method, custom login method, the login page will check if they are enabled. Like so right now they are disabled, all of them, but if they're enabled, check and render them there. So just to cover the rest of the tools that we do have, we also created a translator tool. So you notice that currently, if you want to translate the code or the UI for the language of the interface, you have to go to the AdminLTE default lang file. So let me just show you the file here. So you have to go to this file right here. Manually, you have to come to this file here. This one, language, this one. So you'll find all the strings here. So you translate these ones on the right of this arrow here. So you translate these strings here. Okay, so you translate them one by one. So if we have new strings that have been added, you'll realize that you need to go to this default. So new strings are added to this default one. This default one, you don't translate it. This one you don't translate it. This one is the one that we do create. So when you add a new version, like you realize here for this version, these are the new strings that we added, these ones. So you copy them, you'll copy all this. Now, if you're using the manual way without the tool that we have created, you copy all this all the way down, copy up to the end, then come here, paste them here, below here, paste them below here, and translate them. So that's a lot of work because you have to keep on checking, and could be hectic. But now using the new tool that we have created here, this one, so you'll find all the strings that we have go here. See the strings are here, and the translation you can make them in here. So if this is the translation you want to make that translation, so you don't translate the HTML tags or the characters, special characters. So like this one, bold or whatever. So you just translate this one and this text here. So this is all you'll be translating. So same to every other thing. The good thing about this is that once we add new strings to the default lang, you don't need to go and, once you just come to this page, automatically the strings will be added here so that you can just scroll through and find the ones that you have not translated yet and translate and save. So it's a very long page because it has so many strings. Okay, so all these strings you can translate them to whichever. So how to implement this tool is the same way you did for the custom login methods. You come to the documentation, go to the language translation tool. Here it is. Then scroll down here, go to the gist code, come here, create your custom page the way I did. The process is the same. Then add it to your menus. For me, I've added it to this menu here called UI Translator, and here it is. It will automatically pick the strings for you. You don't need to do anything. Once you save them, save the changes, they'll just appear there, save changes. So you can just go through and see the ones you have not translated. Then you can translate them. It's very simple and straightforward. So it's UI based. You don't need to go to the code all the time, copy pasting strings. Okay, and if you've already translated your language file, you'll have the strings here automatically shown. They'll be shown here already translated for you. So you just look for those ones that you haven't translated and just translate them. That's it. So we have another tool here called the page code editor tool. So this tool is meant to easily edit the code of any file in your application inside your application without needing to go to an external editor or hosting file manager. Okay, so this is secured since you can define who can access the page to edit the code. So you can have access to user groups. If you want only admins to access it, well and good, you can define that when creating your page. So this is how it looks like, page code editor. So assume you have a file, you want to edit something in your application. You don't want to to upload it or to go to the file manager. Now you can just do it in. So the file path here is provided, like this is the file path, this is the folder path. So this is by default it shows where we are at. You see it in custom pages because this is a custom page. So you can just remove it to get you to the exact. So let's go to the application folder, then browse files. So that's it. So you can browse the file that you want. If you want to go to the header, let's say header file, then you say edit code. Okay, so you say edit code, it will bring the code of the file here. So you can do any changes you want to this file here, save, and save the changes here, and the changes will be applied. So a quick way to, it's a tool, so it's a tool. If you want to, if you find it useful, you can just come and set it up. So I'll be adding more and more tools. You can even request for more tools if you want, but the ones I find useful, I'll be adding the code here, so you can just be checking this part here. So because the custom pages tool has now given us the ability to now create unlimited possibilities with this, so you can easily add these tools here. So we don't need to have them as features in the application, but you can now set them up if you need to use it, like this one, custom login options, create a tool, and this one we're going to look at it. This bulk data encryption tool, we are going to look at it. But for this and these are ones that are very straightforward, and we have seen how to set them up. Okay, that's it. So let's go to the next thing. So the last time we did release, we said that we have created a feature to encrypt table data and decrypt it on the table view. Okay, so for example, this is the table that we are working with, this table here. So the last time we checked this table, we noticed that it was inconsistent, that it wasn't decrypting the data correctly. Sometimes it could decrypt, sometimes it could not. But right now we have fixed that. So you can see if you refresh the data, it is decrypted actually. So it decrypts all the data that you have on the table without fail. So if you just refresh the page, you have all the data decrypted there. So you can have the data. Here is the data that we have. So the bug for inconsistencies has been fixed. You can also click on the values if you want now. The values are clickable. The last time you could see the values were not clickable. If you go to the detail view to edit. So but now if you click here, it takes you to the detail. You can edit. So if you say like this one is Michael Jackson, we want to say Chris Brown and save changes. See, it's updated, and if you come to the here, it's done. So that is it. And now someone also asked about if you want to, assuming you have installed this feature, because we have the setup for this, because this one does not come automatically. You don't set it up automatically. You have to do it manually for each table that you want. So you come to data encryption here. Just a recap. We had done this, but you can just recap. So our table is this one. This is the table that we want. You'll select the fields that you want to encrypt. So you can choose the fields. So for example, I've chosen these two fields, the card number and card holder. Those are the fields. So you select those and save changes. That's step number one. The step number two, you now have to set it up. On this page also, we have made some few improvements. Right now, you can now copy the code to clipboard instead of manually selecting it one by one, or you can just copy to clipboard and that's it. Then this code here, you place it in the global.php. So this one is done once for all the processes. You don't need to repeat it for each other table. Once you've done it once, that's it. So the other things that will be custom to each table will be the rest from number 2 up to number 4 there. So that's it. So this one you put it in the global.php, the hooks folder, all the things that are in the hooks. So the other one is the hooks, the table.php file. So for this table, each table will find the name of the table here. So it's test enc, it's test enc. It's product categories, you find categories. So it's straightforward for you to just know which table you're dealing with when you click on the setup. So you go to that folder, then you see here instructions, categories before insert and categories before update. So because you want to encrypt the data before insert and before update. So this one, this thing here, you copy it and put it inside your before update function and before insert function in the categories of the PHP table file in the hooks. Then categories tv.js, the code is here. You can copy to clipboard. This one is straightforward. Just copy, put in the tv.js folder file. And if it doesn't exist, you have to create this file because Appgini doesn't generate these files by default. So you have to create them manually if you need to use them. So this one and this one, the DV one. This one is decrypting for detail view, and this one is decrypting for table view. That's it. This one has been minified, so it's just one line now of code. And then this one also is not so much bulky. Even this one as well, it is updated and now fixed. So if you had implemented it using the previous version, you can now update your code now using this latest release so that the changes can be applied properly. So that's it. So we had another request. If you want to decrypt your data, maybe let's say you encrypted it, but you don't want to have it encrypted anymore. You want to disable the feature. So if you disable the feature, that would mean for all the things that you did here, you have to reverse them. Okay. So if you had put this code, like let's say for this table, okay, let's just wait. Okay. So if you had this code, this one is not really important. You can leave it. But if you want to disable encryption for a table and you had set it up, you'll have to come to this file on the two functions before insert and before update and remove this code because we don't want encryption to keep happening, or you can comment it out, all of it. Then this one also on the tv.js, you can comment it out. Then you can comment this one out. That's it. That one you have stopped the encryption. Now you want to decrypt the data now. So we have a tool now to help you do that. So for your table now, assuming you have disabled everything, you'll come here and find your encrypted values. They'll be here. So you can click on all the values that you want to decrypt so that they just update to the because if you go to the database for this table, let me just show you the database, how it looks like. So that is this one. So you see how the values look like. And these are the encrypted values. Okay. So if you want to decrypt now these values so that they are stored in the database without being encrypted like this, in the case that you need to do that. So you just come here, come to more, let's say bulk decrypt, because the values are already encrypted. So you need to decrypt them. So you click here. So you'll see that data successfully decrypted for those records. Okay, the records that you selected. So if you come to our database here and just refresh our table, you'll see here the values now. You see, for the records that we decrypted, now the actual values are shown in the database here. Okay, we have not removed it for the table view here yet. I just want to show you how it looks in the database. So, but actually, if we do disable that encryption on the table view, these are the values that will appear now without the encryption. So it's now easier that way. Now you can also encrypt them back to what they were, also using the same tool. Okay, so you can close this one here and come here, select all the records, then say bulk encrypt data. Click that. See data successfully encrypted. So if you go back to the database, you see they were like that. So if you refresh, they are now encrypted. Simple as that. So this tool is the bulk encryption and decryption tool is the one that we you see here, this bulk data encryption and decryption tool. It's specifically meant for that function of encrypting and decrypting data that you have on your table. Okay, so you come to it, we'll just see how to do that shortly. You go to the custom pages, build a menu, you create a page, create a new page, give it a name. So for example, let's just go to the custom pages, build a menu. Okay, I'll just show you the setup based on this one. This is the page I have. So I just want to show you how you'll set it up, when you're setting that tool up. So you come here, you give it the name of the page, the icon of the page, though it's not really necessary because the page will not be on the menu. Page group, none. Group that says this select. You can select multiple groups, but for this case, we just want admins can access that page. Then hide in nav menu, you say yes. This is very important, so that we don't want this page to be available on the menu. Users cannot directly access it, but they can access it by triggering the bulk actions, table actions from Appgini. Okay, so that's why we hide it from the menu and then save changes. That's all you need to do. Page name, icon, not important. The groups that I can access. So important things is the name, the groups that I can access, and hide in the nav menu for this tool. And you save your changes. So on the code area, that's it. The code area, don't worry about it because the code is already there for you. You just need to copy it, paste it there. So you go to GitHub, gist, as we shown you earlier, and you copy the code, paste it here, and save. That's done. Now there's one more thing now. So if you want now these menus to appear, let's go to our table here. So for any specific table you want to target, because you'll have to create now, you see these menus here to appear, the encryption and decryption menus. You have to create them manually. Okay, but we have the instructions to do that here. So let me show you how to do that. So you go in your hooks folder, then find your table. Like for example, you're using customers.php, then that's it. So you'll find the function at the bottom of that page called batch action. So let me just show you from the code here, so that we can just see it together. Here it is. So if you go at the bottom of this for your table, the hooks folder, so you find this function here. So the array is provided for you there on the description. You just copy paste it here. You don't need to do any other editing. Okay, but if you already installed custom actions, bulk actions by Appgini plugin, you'll be required to use actions top and bottom, I think. And then so this array you just assign it to maybe a variable link stop, depending on how Appgini has instructed. Is that so that it can be rendered using the Appgini way. But for now, we have know that you don't have any other actions created by Appgini, so we just leave it like that. Okay. Yeah. So the code is here. So you just copy all of this code the way it is. That's it. Then in the table view. So because these actions need a table view because the functions, we have functions here. So you'll see here we have functions, this function and this function. So these functions are placed in the table view.js. So table name tv.js, you place it there. So you'll find that we need these two functions. So these two functions here. This one to encrypt, this one to decrypt. You can see they have been defined here. They have been defined bulk encrypt and bulk decrypt. So here is now where we are creating those functions. So you just copy that code here. This one for tv.js, copy all of it and paste it here. So the only thing you need to do, because this code you have to modify it. So page ID is what we are going now to change, because it's not the same for all pages. So because it will depend on the page that you created. So you remember we created the page here. Just let me show you. We created a page here, this one. So edit, because it's not accessible on the menu, so we have to edit it. Okay. So edit it. So when you edit, you'll get this thing, edit on the URL bar here. So this is the ID you'll copy, come and paste it here with the encryption and the decryption. So you see mine is 167715, which is the same thing here, 1677. So I copied that and pasted it here. So that's because we will be redirected to that page for the encryption and decryption that we want to do. So you see this page is right here. So you're passing it dynamically to the page. Then the action is variable encrypt or decrypt. Table name and the rest of the things are passed there. So the only thing you need to change is this once you've copied the code for tv.js. I think that's clear enough. Once you've done that, save it. Then you can come to your table view and you can refresh. You can clear the cache from your browser, and then you can find your actions here. That's it. So that's how to use this tool here. So that's straightforward over the explanation, but if it's not clear to you, you can always reach out to me via my email. I think I can always help you out to set it up if you want to, but that's how it works. Okay, so that's it. So let's go to the next thing. So apart from that, we had a feature for inline edits. Okay, so inline edit basically used to help people want to edit data. Like if you want to edit this value here, you can edit it right in the table view, but it had some limitations and performance issues as well. So we decided to scrap it off and remove the inline edits feature. But instead, we now introduced another new feature called table actions. Like on this table, you can see we have these three icons here. These are not usual icons in your Appgini table, actually, so they're pretty new. So these table actions are what now we can use. So let's assume you want to edit this record here. So the old way is to click inside here and edit it. But now you can do that just on the table view, but it's not inline, but it can just pop up here. See? So it will pop up here. You can just edit your values, save the changes, and continue with your scrolling down there. So that's it. The same for view. View basically just takes you to the print preview of that record, and delete also deletes the record if you want. So you have a pop-up there, confirm the deletion or not. Because delete, you had to also click here, then click there. Those are 3 steps to click. So if you have a record, if you have a long list of records and at the bottom there, you want to delete a single record, you have to scroll up, go to the more menu, delete it. So it will be hectic, but right now you can just delete it from the table, from in the line of that row here. So just click on it, confirm, that's it. The deletion happens right there. So hello, hello, hello. How to set up these table actions? Just go to the app settings, then go to table actions. So you'll realize that we've replaced the inline edit menu that was right here between this Google capture and database backup with the table actions. So you can now have table actions for all your tables. So for your table, you can say enable table actions. Let's say customers table we have enabled, then groups that, so we have the view one, the edit one, and the delete one. So you can also give access to groups. So maybe you don't want a certain group to access the delete action on the page, or the edit action of the page. So you can restrict that to the table groups that you have. So if you come to our table customers here, you'll see that we have those table actions here. Okay. So let's say we want to remove the delete one here. So just come back and go table actions, say remove now deny. Okay, it's view can remain. We want to remove the delete. Okay. Yeah, remove the delete one. So save changes. That's it. So if you go to the customers table, you now realize that we only have two, edits and view. So that's it. So if you go to view, you can view the records here, and you can edit the records as well in this pop-up model that appears there. So that's it. Or you can disable totally so that it doesn't appear also. So if you do want it to not have the table actions, so you see there are some tables that do not have that. So you can enable depending on your use case and needs. So you can enable or disable. So let's see customers table. See, we have that they are not there anymore. So that's it. So that's the feature that we have replaced the inline edit one. So we have made it easier now. If you want to do any operation on your table view, you can now do much easier using the table actions, delete, edit, and view. Those are the new features that we have there. Okay, so we have these reports menu here. So we realized that this reports menu could be visible to other user groups, even those users that do not have reports assigned to them. Okay, so we added a feature where you can now define which groups can see this menu. So if you go to the reports builder here, in the first page now, you can see before you select any report here. When you select a report, it will take you to the exact table. You can see the reports for that table, but just on the initial menu, before you go there, you can now specify the groups that can see this menu. So it will not be available if before you define for which group, all groups will see it. Okay, all groups. So now you can come and customize and say you only want admins and staff to see that menu for reports. Save changes. That will be it. Reports menu. So those groups are the only ones that can see the reports menu shown. Yeah. So we've also added. So now that we had the inline edit feature, now it's not now supported. It's been removed. So you realize that once you do an installation in future, there will be a code conflict because there are some files that were removed. So and there were files that were inserted by the plugin into your Appgini files. So we have made it easier for you to detect where the code is and how to remove it. So right now, if you go to the installation settings, or if you run the installation file anyway, so general settings, and say install updates. Okay. So when you install updates, we have added this new card here, issues that need your attention. So on this card, you'll find the issues or the code that is deprecated that we don't no longer use in the application, and it'll tell you the file that it is located in, to tell you the line number where the code is at and where you need to delete it from. So if it's in the header extras, for example, in the hooks folder, so it'll tell you in the header extras on line number 10, this is the old code that we don't need. You can remove it from here to here. So now it will be easier for you to remove those codes so that you can avoid further performance issues and throwing unnecessary errors in the console. So you pay attention to this. So you need to set up all the things that have been said here until you get this one. There's no attention issues. So you have to remove everything until this one is clean and there's no issue. So to confirm if there are no issues, you just run the install button again, see if there are any remaining issues for you to act on. Yeah, just made your work easier. Yeah. So the next time you install this update, you'll see some things here. If I told you use the inline edit feature and some few other things, so you'll be notified here where you need to remove the code from. Okay. So that's it. We have had to go through all the features that we have released, and you'll receive an email also regarding these new changes that we have made here. We are very excited about the advanced code snippets and the features. So this one will have more and more features that will be coming and being released time and again, and we shall be notifying you or updating you if we have any other new feature. We shall also be picking new feature requests from you guys, so that if you have any feature requests, you can just suggest it and we can implement it. So you can have those features just plugged into your application. It's like a plug and play thing. So you see, for my case here, I have all those features just plugged in here. The code is already done for you, so you don't need to struggle. The UI translator is there. The code editor, the page code editor, you can edit code for any file. Select your file you want to edit, browse the files, then you can edit it. So this one is very sensitive because you need to assign access to this page. So if it's only admins who can access the page, then they'll only be able to access this page. Okay, so that's it. And the advanced login methods. So for the advanced login methods, you need to this feature here. So let me show you. So this custom login method, not advanced. So for these features, so login with phone number, for example. So when you do that, these scripts that you have here, so like login phone.php. So this is the script you must have on your directory in your application that has the logic. So let me show you an example of a custom login method that I did create for an application. So you see I implemented that. This is a client application. So I just want to show you how that works. So we have sign in using Google and we have sign in using phone number. So this is the custom method. Okay. So you can see I provided my custom scripts. So this one you have to, like, now if you click on this, so this script that someone clicks on the button link will be this one here. So if you click login with phone number. So for my case now, this script will have my code to enter phone number. So if I enter my phone number there, proceed, I should get an OTP to my phone to provide the OTP there. So if the user provides the correct OTP, of course I have functionality behind the scenes to generate the OTPs and to store them so that we can check if the user has entered the correct OTP or the OTP has expired. So that's my own custom logic for this application. So when you enter the correct OTP, validate. That's it. So once the OTP is validated, I'll be logged in automatically. That's it. So this application is a taxi booking application for a client. So that's how custom login methods work. So if I do want to disable that method, you can just go to the admin area, sign in, then go to the custom login methods here and edit this one. This is the same way we've been doing it. Enable method, save changes. It's okay. So if I log out right now, I will not see that method. Simple as that. So that one you need to have knowledge of how to code in PHP, and whichever language or whichever API you want to integrate to, you have to know how to do that. Simple as that. So thank you very much for tuning in and listening to this video. I hope it has been helpful and it will help you have an easier time integrating with our plugin. And thank you so much.